Hey guys, so we're doing another ride today and hopefully there's some technical improvements. I'm brightening up the picture a bit. Seems a bit over bright actually. Let's bring that down a bit. Oh shucks. That looks a bit better. And I'm gonna do a little ride where I basically cover some of my commute to work. Generally when I am commuting to work, having the camera and all that is a bit too much of a distraction, and I'd rather not have, but it's a Sunday morning and in any case when I commute to work it's pretty dark, and so it doesn't do much for camera work. It's starting to get a little bit cold. I think it's about 9 degrees today, this morning, and I'm fairly warmly dressed up, and yeah. Doing about 38 kilometers an hour, which is pretty average speed. And not much traffic, just our security company on the road. I think the gate is already open because they usually open around about 5:45, and I'm usually there just as they open in the morning to get an early start, to get ahead of the traffic. At 5:45 it's fairly light. Most of my commute is on sort of side roads, back roads, but I do have to then get onto my I don't need to wait. How's the boat? It's okay. And as I was saying, most of it about all it's on the back roads, but then it does get into a main road situation, which is mostly double lane. But there is one little section going over a bridge, and the bridge is a bit rickety and needs, well, I'd say needs replacement to turn it into a 2-lane bridge, a double, 4-lane bridge. And if they do that, hopefully they'd give us a cycle track, because as things stand, it's the one moment in my commute which I feel a little bit vulnerable. Well, generally it's you can let's see what I had here. I'm just doing a little bit of experimenting as we speak. That can't really go, so let's go up again. Got a bit of a control panel here. That's better. So let's carry on. I've stiffened up this bracket and socket thing that I've got holding the camera, so hopefully it doesn't start drifting around all over the show. I think it's pretty well fixed now, and I think we might have a fairly good quality video as on this ride. And I've also put what's called a dead cat onto my microphone. Well, mine's not actually a dead cat. Even a dead cat isn't actually a dead cat, but I got some felt and I strapped it around the mic, and hopefully the wind noise is much more reduced. So it's all a long process of improvement. Unlike most people do YouTube vlogs, I'm not using a GoPro, because this kit is a development of a drone camera, which came with a drone that I bought, a Xiaomi Mi drone, and which had a fairly good camera, a 4K camera. This is a 4K camera, but I'm only running it at 1080p. And the nice part about it is, of course, that it's a nice stable 3-axis gimbal, and that it can be used off the drone is quite a useful feature. So I haven't been using my drone much these days, basically because of legal issues, the area where I stay and where I've been. So it's now become a bicycle camera, which is okay. The camera itself is about half the cost of the drone, and so everything is finding its useful place. Okay, usually in my commute this is pitch dark, but I've got a fairly strong double LED headlight and some nice flashing LEDs at the back, even lasers at the back, which I don't know what they look like when you're driving behind, apparently they're supposed to paint stripes in the road, making sure that you have your proper space. Well, good, if it works. I'm quite happy about that. And yeah, so I'm still on my usual track. And this is quite pleasant countryside, this side of the road, of the main road. And once I'm in this area, I sort of heave a sigh of relief that I'm off the main road. It's not that the main road is terrible, it's just that, you know, it's not so cool getting into too much traffic, and it's moving, you know, fairly fast. The speed limit there is 80 kilometers an hour. My top end on this bike is going down a hill. I think I've hit 72 at one stage, but I'd say generally I'm doing about 40-45 kilometers an hour on the flat, and that's so you do have quite a big speed differential between you and the traffic, but so far nothing untoward has happened. And you know, I've watched a lot of YouTube on commuting and that sort of thing, and I think the general consensus is that you're more likely to hit a car than a car is likely to hit you. So of course there is that chance, and who knows when and where, but the idea is make yourself visible, which I certainly am, and I've got a huge amount of reflecting tape all over my bike. Actually it doesn't look too bad, it looks quite nice, and reflecting tape on my jacket and on my helmet and, you know, everywhere. So if somebody can't see me, then they're not looking. So that's and people do give me a fair amount of space. So far I haven't had anything to complain about. Yeah, it's just, of course, if you're not encased in a big metal box, you do feel a little vulnerable, and I suppose you are, but then again nothing more than if you were riding a motorbike. And in fact, I don't know which is more dangerous, a bicycle or a motorbike. There's one, I'm gonna say the advantages of a bicycle, that your speed is lower, of course, and for most accidents, if there was one, being at a lower speed, you're less likely to suffer serious personal harm. Now I'm going to do a little bit of, I'm going to do the bridge because I'm feeling up to it, and Okay, this is where I joined the main road. It's just opposite a prison here. Well, that fellow seems fairly confident. So, as you can see, the cars are coming along at quite a lick. Being a Sunday morning, there's not a hell of a lot of traffic though. Okay, it's just about my turn. There we go. Right, so as you can see, single lane, so a little bit not tight, but a little bit scary. Usually the cars aren't going that fast in the mornings. But okay, I'm doing 42. I'm not going to pedal down the hill. Also testing the microphone. See, there's nothing behind me at the moment. $56, $57. Yeah, well. Nothing dramatic. So now this is now onto a double lane, 4-lane area, 2+2, but there's a problem with the side of the road here. I mean, it's all full of dongers and you totally cannot ride there, and also there's a big pothole here which forces you to go out somewhat into the road. So if anybody is taking the left lane here, they're going to think that you're kind of pushing in front of them, but you're not. You just have to dodge that pothole. Now this fellow is going to feel a little bit grumpy because I'm going to be catching up with him. He's going to be thinking, how the hell does this old man put up such a lick of speed? Well, never underestimate an old man on a mountain bike. Morning, morning. Okay, I'm gonna do a U-turn. Yeah, I'm not gonna go all the way to the office. It's about another 5k's from here. 4k's. And clear, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to go to the other side. And do my trip back showing the other side of the bridge, which is my afternoon commute. I'm trundling along about 40 k's an hour, which I'm about to cross the river. There's a lot of people congregate here. I think it's some kind of religious group. I think it's for baptisms or something of that sort. And so they park at the side of the road here and sometimes cross over the road, which is pretty dangerous. I know as a motorist along here that it's not an optimal situation, but I don't know, I guess people got to do what people got to do. So this is where I'm going up the hill on the other side. It's pretty steep, and I wouldn't like to do this without my pedal assist, because I can see people much younger and fitter than I really struggle up this hill, and I generally just scoot past. It's not that I'm going very fast, only about 15 k's an hour. Now, one thing about light traffic and heavy traffic, in a way, heavy traffic might be better, because people tend to drive slower in heavy traffic. Now, with a lot of cars on the road, it's not that much of an issue for a cyclist, because you can sort of slip through and get through bunched up heavy traffic where it's basically stationary. But in a light traffic situation, people tend to start putting foot and feel a bit vulnerable with cars coming past you at 100 kilometers an hour, you know. So my commute is in the afternoons is generally in heavy-ish traffic, and nobody's going too fast, so you might even be safer in a heavy traffic situation. I think I feel safer than what I am feeling now, because most of the cars now are doing about 80 kilometers an hour, whereas in the afternoons when I'm coming back from work, they're generally doing about 60, which is not a lot faster than what I'm doing. So yeah, there are all sorts of things to consider. Right, so I'll be taking a left here, and this is where I leave a sigh of relief, because this is where my sort of back roads begin. Not to say that there are no cars here. I've got to keep an eye out on the rear view mirror and things like that, but I think the requested speed limit here is 30 kilometers an hour, because there are a lot of horse riders and things like that around. So not a problem. Much more relaxed now. And okay, I'm doing 45, so I don't know how this mic is coping with the wind noise, because I can hardly hear myself, but we'll see. Always testing my developments and modifications to see how they're working, because a lot of this is kind of home built. Not that the good stuff is not available, but it's just that I have to buy everything online, and it takes a long time to arrive and all that, and generally I sort of try and rig something together and see how well I can make it work without spending any money or waiting any time. Talking about that, actually that's the subject which really gets my goat. I have in the past bought a lot of things direct from China, and basically mainly GearBest and AliExpress. In fact, last year I think I bought about 20 items, and a rule has come out which I find absolutely absurd, that the revenue service has decided now to, it's the South African Revenue Service by the way, has decided to make a regulation that you're only allowed to purchase 3 items a year. Otherwise you have to register as an importer. Now this is absolutely absurd, because I mean 3 items a year, and when you buy things you can't say okay, put it all in one box. No, if you buy one, say, lithium ion battery, that's one item, and then you buy another tiny little lithium ion battery charger, that's another item. So basically you've gone through your 3 items in just one very small little project, and I've already gone through my 3 items this year, and it's just like actually an extra mirror for my bicycle, a PC board and another PC board. That's it. And it really is irritating. And this process, I've looked at the forms for registering as an importer, and they will say what's the name of your company and what's your registration number of your company. So the forms are not, don't consider that you're just a private individual buying a few small items from a supplier in China. No. So I don't know if it's a sort of like a trap that you'd get into by starting, by following that route, I think what I'll do is I'll wait until I've got the items that I'm waiting for, and then I'll just, leave it for a couple of months and then buy a few more and see. I'm not too sure if the penalty, of course the penalty will be death, but in terms of the the written legislation, but I'm not too sure if they'll just confiscate your goods or withhold them or something like that until you do produce the form. So maybe that's what will happen if you didn't comply, and you could very easily claim ignorance because, well, I can't now anymore because I'm on YouTube talking about it, but I don't know. The fact is that it is, I don't know if they understand that you're buying things that cost $1 or $2 online. They're thinking that you're buying flippin' luxury yachts or something that are slipping through their fingers. No, I'm buying a flippin' battery charger that costs $1.50 for 10, and they're not even built up battery chargers, they're just bare PC boards, but I mean, the people that come up with these rules really don't understand the environment that more sort of productive people live in, where you don't wait for something to be made up into a finished product. You actually go and import the very basic electronic components, and from that you build what you want to make. This is a strange and alien world to them. So anyway, we'll see how that pans out. Now this is a famous minibus taxi that's coming on here. Well, he's unlikely to, hello, he's unlikely to stop. Hey guys, anyway, a few people out on the road looking at me strangely because they've never seen a camera like this before. And magically, amazingly, my camera is stuck like very solidly to my handlebars without drifting around, and as it has done in the past. So we seem to have gotten that story sorted. So yeah, so anyway, getting back to the goods being imported from China, a lot of the things that I'm doing these days has got to do with battery replacement devices and charging of batteries and things like that. And so one thing that has come to mind is that I know exactly what my commute is going to be. It was basically 11.5 kilometers every morning and same coming back. So I don't want to charge my bike fully every morning and every afternoon. I'd rather have, you know, enough and a little bit of reserve for the trip, and that would lengthen the lifespan of my my battery. So I want to make it so that there's an automatic cutoff at, instead of 42 volts, which is when my charger cuts off, I want it to cut off at 40, and that's something that I'm working on at the moment. I practice this very carefully on my main cell phone. Hey bud. Oh, good man. Yeah. So, and I think that works quite well. That it's good practice if it's unnecessary to fully charge your phone, to basically keep it in a range from about 40 to 80% of charge. And there's an app, I can't remember the name now, that actually gives you a battery condition. Now don't load battery condition apps and all that. There's a specialist app that actually does a very good job of really monitoring your battery, telling you the level that it's charged at. They don't make claims of making superchargers and all that. Just don't go near those things. But this one actually tells you your percentage and makes graphic representations, and so far it's worked fairly well. And basically a full charge, you've got about 300 to 500 of those in the life of your battery. But if you keep it under 80, you've got about 1,000 cycles in your phone. So instead of lasting 3 years, your battery could last maybe 5, maybe 10 years, who knows. But that's also backed up by a lot of solid research on lithium-ion batteries that prefer to be charged in little bits along the way, instead of receiving one big dollop of charge in one go. So I practice that, and I'm hoping to start practicing that on my bike as well, because the battery on my bicycle, I think at the moment, comes in at about 3,000 rands, which is not something I'd like to pay unnecessarily. And my Commute doesn't really need a hell of a range. Like I said, only about 11.5 k's either way, so I don't need to have a really heavy charge. And yeah, so if I can get that organized and automated, that I don't have to sit there with multimeters and keep an eye on it all the time and all that, then I'd be much more comfortable. But yeah, so that's what has been using some of my attention recently. And here we are back at the hamlet. Okay, so I've actually been very good with my e-bike. I drive my car about once a week. No, those are not my cars. My car's on the left, and I think I've single-handedly been saving the planet. So yeah, it's not that that's my prime concern, but you know, if it's a so let's show my face here a little bit. Where's my whoops, I always do that, I never know which way it's going to go. Oh no, excuse me guys, but it is pretty cold out there. And yeah, so I hope you've gotten this far in the video. I just want to show something that I'm fairly proud of. How about that? Apollo 11. And coming up in July, it's the 50th anniversary. And well, I was 10 years old when it went up, so it's got a very special meaning for me. And I've also been to Kennedy Space Center and seen the Saturn V rocket on display and all those nice things. So yeah, it's very real in my life. Yeah, it went to the moon. If you take a look at the Saturn V rocket, if it didn't go to the moon, then it should damn well have. It looks as if it could go to Alpha Centauri if it tried hard enough. Anyway guys, let's see, am I nicely in the picture here? You can actually see me. There we go. Yeah. And this is my commuting outfit, which as you can see is pretty well decked out with stripes and all that sort of thing. And yeah, so people should be able to see. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Cheers guys.